Welcome to the DigitalituM Podcast at the intersection of manufacturing and digital transformation. My today's guest is Gerd Bart with Transaction Network, and we're talking about the topic digital services. Welcome, Gerd, to my podcast.
Hi, Markus.
So let's dive right into it. Tell a little bit about yourself. Who are you? Where are you coming from? How did you get into Transaction Network?
This is a really nice question because it's a long story, but I can keep it short if you want. So I started first as a carpenter. This is my original job where I was, and then the first thing is the DataX system from the German telecom comes up, and there I develop a small chat, and we make some software, and this was very funny for me, and so I get the first feed into the door round about the software development part, and then I drifted up. I was a project leader of DoYou. I was project leader of eBay, so it was the German part. Alando, it was the name of eBay, and then we of course I was very fast in the retail part and also in the e-commerce part. But after, I think it was 10 years, it comes up that the manufacturing comes to me and told me, can you build up a small portal, or can you build up a platform for us where we can find all relevant documents, what we have around the process, what we do when we manufacture a machine. And then this was really the part that I built up the first platform for manufacturer. And with this part, I came to a SAP company, and I make the business development part about all platforms, digitalization of services with the machine manufacturing, and we have a lot of successful customers. And with all this and with SAP, it was a very expensive part. So as you know, SAP and the license, it's not so cheap. And if you build up some projects with SAP, then you need 1 year, 2 years. So this is really normal going. And in this part, we decided to build up our own company. So we build up a software who have a digital platform, a service platform for our manufacturer, and build it up as a software as a service company, and not based on SAP, based on our software. And so we are very fast and very cheap with our manufacturer to build up the services, the whole services totally to make it digitalization on our platform. Yes, this is the idea behind, and we build up our company for 4 years. We started, it was the 3rd of May in 2021. So we started with our company. We are very successful till today.
That's great. And the name of the company is Transaction Network. How did you come up with that name? What is behind that, and what's the meaning of it?
I think one point is very, very important. So it's called network, because we make the network because between the manufacturer and his customer. And it's possible that we have all the to have it right on the view as the customer who go into the portal, he has the view above all his manufacturers. So we have a kind of ecosystem, and this is a part of network. And what is between the manufacturer and the customer, we make transactions. So this is the name of the company, Transaction Network.
Cool. And if you get asked, what is Transaction Network actually doing? What is the product and what problem does it solve? How do you explain that in just a few sentences?
Oh, this is very difficult in few sentences, because we have a different view to the platform. So if you have the view as a manufacturer, then we help in the totally basic stuff of all the services, processes who have a manufacturer have with his customers. So we call it asset management. We can have the completely part of buying things, identify things, so the complete purchasing part, online shop, service part with ticket system, and so on. And of course, also the condition monitoring, so have a look what's going on the machine. On the second view, we have, of course, the producer, and he have a look over all his machines and overall his manufacturer. And in this case, we have a lot of artificial intelligence, and we reduce the time who is a complete machine is broken down, for example. So we help the producer to speed up his production.
And in this area, I see an overlapping into a classic MES system, which has kind of similar tasks and values what it can bring to a manufacturer.
Not really, because MES have his focus directly on the production, to plan and to execute the production itself. We have all the focus on all parts coming from the manufacturer side. So we discuss about all the services you have between the manufacturer.
You're focusing purely on the life cycle management part.
Yeah, you can call it like this. Totally this one. Yeah. So if you have a broken machine, then it's the question what you can do now. Then you need the service of the manufacturer, and to bring this together at one platform. This is the idea behind.
And so to sum it up, would you be okay to call your platform a digital services platform for machine builder and manufacturers?
Yes.
Or is that too short of a comprehension?
No, this is totally right.
Good. So then our viewers kind of know what this is all about. Let's talk about the challenges, what typically machine builders have when they build complex machinery, they sell it to their client, and then actually the life cycle of that machine starts. It operates, it produces part, it goes bad, things break, service is needed, spare parts is needed. How does this process typically look in the old world?
You can call it in 3 words: Word, Excel, and a telephone. So this, I think, is a typical problem what machine builder have with his customer. Though they have a lot of process who goes around, who have a ping pong game between all this stuff. So give me an order of this part. Okay, the question back: which part do you mean exactly? Which machine do you mean exactly? And so this is typical process what they have. And what we do is to have a focus on all the digital data, though that it's everything is clear in this communication part between, of course, the manufacturer and the machine builder. So this is the idea behind. For this, we bring all the data in our platform, so it's everything clear. You make a click, the customer make a click, for example, send a question via ticket to the machine builder, but then in the ticket, everything is clear. It's clear where is the customer, where is the machine, which part, and so on. So this reduce of course, the time on the machine builder side, and this is a big idea that he have more time for the relevant service, not only for back office services.
Yeah, I would add to that two additional challenges are reactive, kind of like firefighter mode. You react when the fire is burning, and then you have to react quickly. And you have to have the resources available to do that, which is, of course, always a challenge with having the right people and the right amount of people, and in a 24/7 environment, if you look at the whole world. And then comes in my point of view, also the inefficiency in if you work very reactive, you either are completely booked out, triple of the time, or you're just sitting and waiting, and you have your resources sitting and waiting, and you have to pay them all until that call comes in, which is overall not very efficient and therefore doesn't generate value and revenue for your company.
Exactly. You said in the right words.
Thank you so much. I'm coming from this industry as well and understand the problems very well, as I have been in my previous life, a service manager, service director, organizing field service in the Americas for machine builders. And I know all these challenges. So on one side, we have all these challenges. On the other hand, we have now this digital services platform transaction network, which is, of course, a big thing. We need to break it down a little further in the different modules, what you guys offer. and explain quickly what the individual modules, what benefit and value they bring. And let's start with the asset management. First of all, why do you need that?
Yeah, of course, because asset management, it's the totally base and the base this for all information what we have and what we need on our platform. So the asset management contains all information about the machine. You have a totally parts catalog, so it's a spare parts
Bill
catalog.
of material.
Bill of material totally. We have also a software as a bill of material of software, yeah, and we can make, for example, also a software download for your machine and all this stuff. What is really. If you look, for example, on the new government regulatory, what is coming up but more in the EU, not in the US, but it's very important for us. And of course, we have all the things about 3D view about the machine, so you can drill down in your machine, you can identify all the parts very easy. You can have your smartphone can identify your parts, you get all the information about this. Of course, behind this asset management stands very fast the next model, and it's called online shop. So we have in the asset management part, of course, your personal price, what you have defined in your contract. So we have also the Verfügbarkeit. I don't know the English word.
Availability.
The availability, of course, of each part, and this is very helpful. So you get all the information on one thing at one model.
Also broken down again on a machine level, as the challenge or the problem to be solved is, in the old way, client calls the machine builder and tells them, hey, on my machine there's a part defect, and then comes this ping pong of either email or phone calls in the identification what is actually the part, the correct part. And then at one point of time, it goes into a quote and to a pricing, which to my understanding can be easily solved in a specific spare parts web shop, what you offer, which is then based on the bill of material of this particular machine where I'm from. So I'm actually sure I'm getting the right part which fits to that particular machine.
Correct. But you mentioned now the ping pong, and the ping pong, we handle it with our service model. And in the service model, we have a calendar so you can plan all your maintenance. And we have a small ticket system. And the ticket system is the communication part between the manufacturer and the customer. And therefore, all your models have an interlocked thing. Yeah, so it's very important in our platform. So everything, it's not a silo, it's not a single model. So not every model are interlocked together and brings service and the information in the right way on the right part, the right information to the right person. So this is the idea behind. We have a complete web shop. It's right. It's a very big web shop. We have I think 300 functions in this web shop, based of course on B2B scenarios. So we have.
Is it as cool as Amazon.com?
Of course. No, I don't think you can make you can look at Amazon and then have to look at our shop. Our shop, it's perfect fit for this. What's going on in the service part? What's going on with the manufacturer? What's going on in searching and identify parts, and then to buy it very fast and quickly at a platform, of course, but it's not Amazon. Amazon, it's a marketplace. Yeah, of course, we can also, or our shop, it's possible that you build up a marketplace, so you can put in all your C parts. You can also put in all components from a components manufacturer, and you can also bring in some consultants, agencies, and so on. This is possible.
So the focus is specifically on the manufacturing industry. And if we talk about the web shop, about the different type of products you have there, as in the machine building world, You have always purchasing items or catalog items, which you just buy out of a catalog, but you have also manufactured items made via CNC additive manufacturing, which are one-offs of a specific CAD file, which of course are more difficult to handle as you have a different price for quantity 1 versus quantity 10.
Yeah. One thing, in my opinion, it's very important. We are a closed shop. So you can only go in if you are a customer of a manufacturer. If you're not a customer, then you will see nothing.
There's no guest access. You have to be logged in, registered, and so and you have validated your client, and a competition, for example, cannot log in and kind of steal your information or your pricing.
But we have also, for example, that we have a 3D printer behind our shop. So you can put parts who is ready for printing in the basket, then you make your order. And with the order, we generate a license for the printer. And then we set this license directly to the 3D printer, and he print it out directly in your production. So we are very, very fast to identify parts and of course to get then the parts directly in your production hall. So this is a very big issue, of course.
Yeah, definitely. One big issue what manufacturers and machine builders have is, it's nice to have a platform and to have all this data and everything is connected. But at one point of time, the data you have already in your different systems need to get into that system. And in a normal world, this means a lot of manual data entry and data validation, which at the end of the day means then a lot of time, a lot of efforts, and a lot of cost. What are you guys doing different here in order to speed up this process and don't make it so cumbersome with manual data entry and all of this ridiculous work what nobody wants and needs to do?
Exactly. And this is a point why we generate or where we build up our own integration platform. The integration platform, it's called DataX. It's our own software from our side, and it stands behind our transaction network platform. And this integration platform helps to speed up all integration over all your systems from 3 months, 5 months to really 2 weeks. So we have, for example, we have a SAP adapter. As I mentioned, was before SAP, a consulting company. And this adapter helps that we get all the information from SAP during only 2 days. So this is really speed up. And this is really that we get a fixed package, I will mention, with our platform and the integration platform, though you can use it directly. And if you're a manufacturer and want to use it by your own, you can map your own data in a graphical way on our integration platform, though you can do it all this stuff. The complete integration, or we will call it the complete onboarding on our platform by your own. And this really, I will mention and I will tell you, you can do it, I think, in 1 week.
And what are the typical different systems what a machine builder is using, and what type of data is in the typical system, like the ERPs, the CRMs, the PDMs, and so on? Can you kind of break that down?
I think it's a typical system, but they have the ERP system. Normally, they have Microsoft or SAP. Yeah. The next is, of course, a CRM system. So for all the field service interaction,
all the customer information,
and also customer information. So we have it both. So you have the field service management tools, and of course you have a PLM system. So they are stored more the CAD, the
documents and bill of materials and all of that.
Exactly. Bill of materials, I think you will find it more in the ERP system. But yes, this is a typical system overview. But if you look on international brands, then of course they have a lot of ERP systems, maybe in the US, one in Germany, one in, I don't know, Italy or somewhere. And to bring all the systems together in one platform. This is also one big issue and one big part who we can handle with our integration platform.
So in this international environment where you have the headquarter here and different country subsidiaries and each of them running different platforms, transaction network can actually be that middle ground where all the information can come together. And specifically for the service department, for after sales, for lifecycle management, it is important that you have all information from customer related data to accounting prices information to specific technical data like technical manuals, drawings, CAD files, and so on, and get everything together on a machine base. And you guys are able to do that actually.
To make the best service for your customer, we think it's our opinion that you need the master data of all your machines and you need the live data. We will call it live data. Yeah, the T data, also the data what's going on directly now on the machine, and bring this both databases together.
Mm-hmm.
Then you can speed up your service, in our opinion.
Yeah, that's now forgot the counting. As in fourth model, the condition monitoring, where you actually collect the performance data of that piece of machinery and use that as a data input for problems, for wear and tear, and other use cases. At the end, I guess predictive maintenance is the heading for that use case.
It's a big headline because under predictive maintenance stands for us all the next model, and this is called that we have a big artificial intelligence directly on the platform.
Mm-hmm.
And use AI for one thing. We called in German, it's called AI agent. I don't know if it's the same name in the US.
Similar.
So, and the AI agent, we use it like ChatGPT. Yeah? You can ask them things and then you get the right answer directly, and you get the information what you have to do, and you get the information where stand the next information, or where you get your parts and so on. So typical ChatGPT, this works pretty good, but this is of course a small thing. So in Germany, it's a big hype. So every agency will sell it and very important, but I think it's really a small one. What we do with artificial intelligence is directly to make predictive maintenance in the shop floor over 30, 40, 50 machines. And this is very important. And this is very helpful. Directly in combination with condition monitoring, of course. Though we collect all the data, we make a monitoring, and then we define where are the hot spots of some problems. And then we define rules and which is the next process we have to pick up based on these rules. And after this environment, then we go to our AI and tell our AI, come on, you have to learn all these processes, and then we will get better and better in all this process, and then we will save and we will reduce. Definitely, how to say, we go up in the production time, but we reduce the Standzeit. I don't know.
Downtime. Yeah, of course. That's the important thing, that at the end of the day, what problem do you want to solve? And that is to reduce downtime of the production machinery.
Yeah.
And if that production machinery is integrated in a large production line, we have downtime costs of a couple of 10,000s per minute, or even higher, depending on the processes, where it's actually very important to fix a problem. The challenge out there is that on one side, machinery is getting more and more complex. On the other hand, the human side of things, the field service and the maintenance people, are not growing in the same way as the complexity of the machines. And this creates that big gap. And to my understanding, this big gap can only be filled with technology under the umbrella of digitalization. And at the end of the day, this service technician, this maintenance technician needs the information of that problem at that location where they are. They need that particular information to solve it and to have that most likely on that device, which they carry anyway with them. I think that's the major goal, where then comes the efficiency and the value proposition for having a solution like a transaction network.
You need automated processes, and automated process can only be kept and managed by digital tools. And digital need a platform on there. Everything is running, and this is what we provide for our customer.
Yeah. And if you go again in the use case of predictive maintenance, if you may know, in a Tesla or in a car, you have a lot of wear parts as well. And brake pads are a typical example for a wear part, as they go bad over time. In every other car, you get a nasty fault message in your cockpit with bing, bing, bing alarm, and you have to do something, which everybody of us skip and try to live without as long as it goes. And Tesla makes actually a business model out of it, as the car itself is already connected to the brain of its user. It books an appointment through the calendar of its user, of course, in the next Tesla shop, and is then able to do kind of like a Formula One box stop in replacing this wear part, while the user enjoys free Wi-Fi and maybe gets a fresh cappuccino while all this work is done. And what is the big value for the end client? It's all about convenience. He or she can focus on what's important to them, while the car and the maintenance is taken care. How do you take this model and apply it in the machine building industry using a transaction network?
I can say it in a very, very easy way, because we do exactly the same like Tesla. And the only offering what we do is that the machine builder can reduce his software cost, because he can use transaction network and he will save every cost on software development. So this is the basic idea behind our platform. But from the use case part, we exactly do this, what you mentioned with Tesla. Exactly this use case.
And bring the convenience to the end user and getting things taken care.
If the end user find every information and have a lot of, I will call it helpers, or I will call chatbots, and I will call it after artificial intelligence, who help him to save money and to save his load on work. This is what make really a happy customer on the end of the day.
And then you mentioned actually a company, a machine builder, can now invent the wheel themselves and build a platform like this themselves, of course, on the side, while they focus on their real business. And we all know that will most likely take much longer than expected. And you get your super customized solution, which you then also need to service over a very long time, which also takes a lot of resources. Or if you go the transaction network way, what are the advantages there?
If you make it by your own, you need between 2 and 4 million euro or $4 million to build up a software like transaction network in this complete specific way. Though we have a lot of customer who build up in his own way, but after 2-3 years they come back to us and say, hey, come on, this was not the right way to develop all by ourselves. We need a software as a service solution. We want to reduce our costs on software development. And of course, the very most important part is not only the costs, it's also the maintained of software. So we have a security operations center, for example. We have the SOC Type 2 certification. So we have a lot of things around maintain and develop our software. And to have it all by your own, it's very expensive. You need your own software department. You need your own security level. You need your own 24/7 support and so on. And this is directly in our company, and you have only to pay a small license per month, so a subscription fee, and it's very, I can promise, it's very
Yeah, that's again where the efficiency comes in. If you have to do everything yourself, there's also no scaling effect. The big thing on transaction network side, you guys develop that thing once, of course, further develop it with additional features, but all your members, your clients participate in that, and over time that software is getting better, has additional features, additional functions. As in the world of AI, so many things are possible and further developing.
I bring one idea or one use case. For a lot of our customers, it's very important that we can make software updates directly on the machine. To build up this function, it's very, very complicated, and you need a direct connection between the machine and, of course, a platform like Transaction Network. Therefore, we have our own Transaction Network box. It's a gateway where we can make all these updates directly on the machine. But now it's final developed from our side. It's directly in the market. You can buy it from us, and you can buy it for every one in our platform. So it's nobody more have to develop this by himself. So it's very it's the easiest and the cheapest
Yeah,
way to use.
no reinvention of the wheel.
This is a totally idea of software as a service, of course, but this is very important in this complicated market and this complicated processes. What it's done at machine builders. I will call it a little bit in this way.
Looking in the future, specifically on the topic of AI, there's so many new things coming. ChatGPT, for example, just improved the picture generation mode, and there are tons of things out there. How do you see like the future of AI? What future developments do you expect there? What's your point of view in that?
Oh, this is really difficult, but it's a very interesting question because yeah, I must say every week everything is new. Everything comes up, some news information about artificial intelligence. Everything you can develop a new stuff, and everything makes it very, very easier. I remember at myself the first predictive maintenance project. It was before 10 years, I think 10 years ago. Yeah. There were only rules, so there were no artificial intelligence. There were nothing, and of course, the project was not very successful because it was not happening. There is something missing. There was a software stack are missing between the rules engine, and of course the data. And this what was missing was definitely artificial intelligence. Now we have it directly on our platform, and you can use it, and we are very successful with this. And if you look now in the future, I think it will. For us in our platform, everything will be easier. Easier means really we are faster and we have a more clear understanding what's going on in the process directly, and we can more help that the machineries goes not broken down in the main time frame, so that we have a clear understanding when is the perfect time of maintenance, and when we can make a planned breakdown or planned downtime of the machine, and then we help the service part, and we have the manufacturer of all this stuff. And for this, I think artificial intelligence will help us. But of course, they also will call us. They will help us on the cell phone. They will give us all information what we have on the right time to the right place. Of course, they will prepare us that something will broken the next day, of course. So I think it will make our life a little bit easier.
So you're the opinion that AI in general is a helper and not a kind of a danger which takes all our jobs away.
With jobs, it's really the same discussion what we have, I think, 20, 30 years ago. So it's every time the same. If you have every easygoing jobs, the basic jobs, of course, AI will kill it, of course. But this is the idea of artificial intelligence to help us to kill all the stupid jobs, that so we have time for the more impression jobs, that we have time for the interesting part of jobs, of course. But I think artificial intelligence will help us more than we will get running in trouble, because AI have no motion, for example. We are human and we have motion. If we speak together and something goes wrong here in our discussion, then we are angry, for example, or we are happy, or we have love. AI have no love. AI have no emotion. And AI will have, in my opinion, will never have some emotion. Everything it's mathematic. So everything it's calculate, everything it's calculate based on 1 and 0. And therefore, I don't think that it's that we have to go nervous on AI. I think it's very helpful for us.
Yeah, I have a similar opinion. I see technology overall as a way to get better, faster, more efficient, and add more value in the work and in the action we provide.
Yeah, absolutely.
Very good. We're coming to the end of this podcast episode. Gerd, thank you for joining and sharing your insights about the Transaction Network to our listeners and viewers.
Thanks, Markus, to be here, to your discussion partner on this podcast. It was a funny time for me. So thanks, decision. Thanks.